morning. Oh, did I bring something to drink besides coffee? I hope so. All right, good morning, everyone. It is Thursday. All right, so today I'm going to keep it kind of simple, kind of normal. For some people, you'll consider it normal, and something that I think a lot of people are confused about, but use every day, and deprive themselves of things because of this confusion. So today I'm going to talk about the difference between selfishness and self-love, because when someone attempts to do something for themselves, they will either judge themselves as being selfish, or they will allow others to insert that judgment upon them and they accept it. So I'm going to talk about the differences between the two, and the importance of knowing the difference between the two, because it can either be part of your progression or part of your what would be the opposite of that. What is progression? Digression? Is that a word? Digression? No, I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to have to look that up because I don't know what the opposite of that is, really. Digression. Digress. Yes, digress. Yep, that's it. It works. All right, so the difference is the energy, is the intent. It is where the soul is in its energy. It's how the person sees themselves. It's how much love they have within themselves. This will determine whether or not it's selfishness or self-love. So, for instance, someone so you guys probably already know that I don't really, when it comes to like money and things like that, I don't really engage in lending out money or anything like that, because it's unloving to myself, and self-love comes first. So someone will say, oh, well, you're selfish, you're just being selfish. Whether or not, I could have the money and be able to actually just reach my pocket or reach into my bank and give it, that could be a thing, and the other person knows it, and they feel since I have it, I should give it. So that, first of all, that's an unloving thing in the first place. So, but secondly, the self-love comes from me understanding what the universal laws are. So I understand that if someone is struggling and they have created this law of attraction for themselves based on the deficit that they have within their soul, which is causing their deficit in finances, because I am aware of this and I understand why it's happening. And so the reason why it would be happening is because they have unloving things towards themselves in terms of them feeling worthy worthy, or they don't feel that they should be able to have this, or whatever their feeling is within their soul that's preventing this, or that's causing this to take place. So, I wonder why the seat was getting hot. The seat warmer was on. I'm like, it's getting kind of warm in here. So I understand that if I impede upon their experience, because that experience that they're having is a law of attraction experience created by them, but the universe is making it all happen. Like the law of attraction, the law of compensation, the law of cause and effect, they're all happening together to bring this person this experience. But in this person's ignorance, they don't understand what's going on, and so they don't understand why this is happening, why they're struggling, why they're feeling the financial pinch. And because they don't understand, they're looking for the best alternative that they know that will alleviate their pain and suffering. So they're trying to counter the law of attraction. So they would be trying to use me to counter the law of attraction. So they're trying to use me to go against the universal laws. They're trying to use me, they're trying to involve me in alleviating their pain. But if I do that, that means I'm interfering with God's universal laws. And there's penalty for for that. And the reason why is because the creator is trying to send, through the universe, is trying to send messages to that person. Say, hey, look at this. And they're not paying attention to their emotions. They're trying to shut it down. They're trying to shut down the painful emotion. So I understand all of this. So I'm not giving the money because I want to be selfish and I want to keep it all to myself. I simply understand that if I involve myself in this, I penalize myself. And if I penalize myself, that means I don't love myself. Because why would I want to inflict undue pain upon myself? That's the question. And so the answer to that is I don't. And so therefore I don't give out money like I used to, because there will be a karmic consequence if I do that. And I've experienced it in the past, and I'm sure many of you out there have too. If someone was struggling, it doesn't matter how you help them, but you ended up getting burned in the end. That's because you interfered with the universal laws that were designed specifically for them, and you cut it off. You said, hey, you almost hit that car because you want to, I want to see what you look like. Oh, it's a sister. She waving her hand in her conversation. She don't give a shit about what's going on around her. Oh my God, she's so crazy. She's so crazy. Oh my goodness. Okay, so yeah, that's what's going on. So that's the difference between self-love and selfishness. Now, so let me explain the selfishness part. So the person who would consider you to be selfish, if this was you, if you decided that you wanted to love yourself and you didn't want to involve yourself in the universal laws, you didn't want to, look, it's like, do you want to cross God? That's basically what it is. Do you want to cross God? Do you want to interfere? Because it's just like a parent, basically. So, you have a parent who is trying to discipline, and someone's trying to step in, and you end up getting the spanking because you stepped in. It's because you're interfering with the corrective measure. But I'm not condoning spanking. I'm not doing anything like that. What I'm saying is there are corrective measures that are trying to be conveyed. And so for instance, if a parent deprives their child of something, say the parent grounds their child, and they say, you can't have video games, you can't have any sweets, you can't have this and that and the other until you learn your lesson, until you think about what you have done. So that's basically how the creator has set up the universal laws, to deprive you of the things that you enjoy until you actually figure out and notice and acknowledge what you've done that caused the pain to yourself or other people. So a kid could be playing in the street, all right? And that is something that jeopardizes their life. And so if the parent catches them continually doing it after they've said, hey, stop, and they finally ground them, and now they're grounded for a week and they can't have video games, have to stay in their room, blah, 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 that's a restriction. And that's perfectly okay, because that allows the person to actually experience and to give that person time to think, what did I do? Why am I experiencing this lack of freedom? And so if you have a brother or a sister that sneaks you sweets, or here's my Game Boy or PS whatever, then that child is interfering with the corrective measures. And so that child may be grounded because they interfered, and now they're in trouble. And so that's what would be happening if I or you interfered with someone else's corrective messages. So the person who believes you're selfish and won't help you out. So if the child who's grounded, or the kid who's grounded, wants you to, hey, bring me some of this or bring me some of that, and say, no, I'm not going to get in trouble, because there's some brothers and sisters that be like, I'm not going to get in trouble. I'm not going to suffer because you messed up. You see? So then that kid who's grounded would say, you're selfish. You're just being greedy. You just want everything for yourself. Well, the bottom line is that other child didn't do something to incur any karmic penalty. So why are they going to do something to jeopardize their freedom? And so that's the difference between selfishness and self-love. When you love yourself, there's an understanding that you have as to why you're doing what you're doing, and it's only part of love. Whereas selfishness doesn't have any love at all. It's loveless. There's just a lack of it. And so anyone who would say you're selfish has a lack of love within them already. But understand that they're already in a place that's degraded. Their soul is already in a place that's causing them karmic suffering. So that should tell you right from the start, if someone is suffering, then they're already in a place of being, or they're already in a degraded space within their soul. I'm saying is there, it's in a degraded space. So that should tell you already, if someone is suffering, that they're already in a dark space. And so for them to say that is only, to me, it's only natural. It's a natural thing for them to come out and say something like that, and call you selfish and an asshole and this and that and everything else, because they're in a degraded state, which is why they're suffering. So you have a choice to make. Like, do I want to involve myself in this? Do I want to continue to talk to this person? See, I don't do that. Like, I don't, if someone is suffering, like the lady at work, you know, she's suffering, and I know it, and it caused her to do some things that were unloving. And so now I don't really engage with her. I mean, I say good morning, but I already know where she is. On a soul level, I know where she is. And so, since I know where she is, I know what she's capable of. And I know how she perceives me. And I know how she perceives other people and everything else around her. So this is what I'm saying. Like, if you understand what the difference is, then you're better off. If you understand what the universal laws are, you understand why people are doing what they're doing. Which one am I getting in? I think it's this one. One more, Bradley. So yeah, selfishness. Like right now, if I did what I'm doing now with my life a long time, maybe I do need some of this coffee. Hold on a second. Is this that same crazy woman coming up behind me? She's flying. She's flying. So if I lived my life a long time ago, as I'm living it now, like say even 5 years ago, I would have considered the things that I'm doing now to be selfish, and I would have stopped it. And this, honestly, this would have stopped my progression big time. Big time. To cut everyone off the way I have, and I haven't really, like I've said before, I haven't really cut them off, but the law of attraction has happened in a way where it has just removed people from my life. And the thing is, with that, if the universe would have taken people away from me out of my experience, my life experience as it has, I would have thought about it. I'm like, oh, I haven't talked to them in a long time. I need to contact them. I feel guilty. I don't feel guilty not talking to people. I don't feel guilty not talking to my brothers. I don't feel guilty not talking to my sister. I don't feel guilty not talking to people, period. People that I used to know that I don't talk to anymore. Like, there's a reason why we're not communicating, and I'm okay with that. And the reason why I'm okay with that is because I understand it. I understand that I am in a completely different place. I have a completely different perspective, a different view, and I'm having a different experience than these people are. And so I recognize that. But if this had happened before, I would have pulled myself right back into the madness, right back into the chaos, right back into the drama. And the thing is, I would have done that if my soul was still in that state. This is how I know my soul has changed, because there's nothing pulling me to that stuff. There's something it's almost like it's repelling it, and it not like forcefully trying to be away from it, but it's really like one of those, umbrellas, and you treat it with that repellent, and it's like it just rolls off. It just doesn't even penetrate. It doesn't get to the other side of the fabric. And so it's like this barrier is being created between me and this different type of energy, and that energy can't enter anymore. And so I'm not affected by it, and there's nothing within me that's calling me to it, because there's no attraction, there's no similarity in energy anymore. There used to be, like I used to mesh and gel well with other people. Absolutely. I mean, people who gossip and talk about other people, yeah, I used to get into that. I don't get into it anymore. When I hear it, I just walk away. And in the beginning, as I was transitioning, I would not really engage with it, but I would just listen to it. And now I don't even listen to it. I just continue. It's like I don't even need to know it. Why do I need to know it? There's just something within me that just doesn't even have a desire to do it. Now, I don't, at work, people gossip all the time. That's just the thing. So, when they're talking, I don't, close my door to shut it out. I don't use any willpower to do it. I just focus on what I'm doing. And the thing is, when you're focused on what you're doing, you automatically block other things out. Because because you're so focused in what you're doing. And that's what's happening right now, is I'm so focused in my life and the things that are going on in it, I don't have time to worry about other people's drama or what's going on in their life. And it's not because I'm condemning them or anything. And this is part of the difference between being selfish and being loving to yourself. So if I were being selfish, I would be like, I don't want to have anything to do with you. You know, you want to inflict a certain type of pain upon the other person. You know, you want to, because a lot of people do this, they will shut out to create this illusion that everything is fine in your world and you don't want to have anything to do with them. And so it's a selfish thing because you're manipulating energy. You're manipulating the energy of others on purpose. Whereas if you just have self-love, you're just going about your business. You don't have any ill will. You don't have any ill intent about anything. Does it make sense? So, and let me explain the selfishness, because that's probably a little bit difficult to understand. When we're talking about selfishness in that respect, we're talking about energy. We're talking about energy around that's around you. And so you want to have positive energy only within your area, but you want to create chaos elsewhere. And that's a selfish thing. This is what happens when you try to manipulate other people or make them feel a certain way, is you're trying to change their energetic environment by manipulating the situation, by manipulating your environment on purpose. You're creating a different environment in their world, if you will. And this is selfish because you only want joy and or feel good, pleasurable moments for you, but you don't want it. You don't want those things for the other person. And that is selfish. When you try to do that, when you try to prevent someone else from having joy and pleasures, that's a selfish thing. And so when you're using your willpower, you try to create that environment for them. And the person who left, he used to do this all the time. Like he would, shut people out and do different things to make you feel a certain way, to try to make you feel less than, like you don't matter, you don't care, I'm mad at you, blah, blah, blah. Like all these different things this person would do, but that person did it on purpose to create a negative energy within your world. And so I was aware of this, and like, I just knew it was happening. So it was like, did it affect me? Well, yeah, it did. Not because it hurt my feelings, because this person didn't want to talk to me. It hurt me in the sense, like, it's like, why would you want to do this? Like, why? It's the intent, and this is what I'm talking about. It's the intent that is bothersome, because it is an intent that the soul feels. And so the soul feels that lack of love, and this is what that person was trying to produce, is a feeling of lack of love within my world, within the world of others that person also shut out. And so it affects the soul. Now in the mind, it's like I understood it, but anytime anyone experiences any kind of lack of anything, they're going to be triggered by it if they have an emotional injury regarding that subject. So obviously I have emotional injuries of rejection and things like that. So I'm going to feel it. Now I understand that it doesn't have anything to do with me, but I can't change the fact that those emotional injuries still reside within me. And so it's going to affect me in some way, shape, or form. And so, when I noticed this the first day, like I said, his last day was Friday. So when I went to work on Monday, it was so peaceful. Like the whole morning, like I woke up early. This old man, if you do not, dude, he's like making this rage come up out of me, you know what I'm saying? So that man is going straight to hell, I already know. You can tell by his aggression. Like he's like driving crazy and zigzagging. He's like, what, 70 something years old, zigzagging in and out of traffic in his brand new Mercedes. So I can't change the fact that these things reside within my soul. And it's going to trigger me. I can't change that. Or actually I can change that, but I have to release the emotional injury so that I would no longer be affected by it. Now I'm not affected by it, meaning I'm not responding to it, but I still know that person is projecting negative energy towards me. Now, if I didn't have that within my soul, then if I'm not denying it, of course. If I didn't have that within my soul, then I would just walk in and just understand that that person just wants privacy for whatever reason. But I understood that that's not the reason why that person would, keep their door closed and things like that. And I just circled back. So I just remember where I left off. So when I went to work, I woke up early. Actually, let's just say I woke up early, before the alarm clock went off. I got up. I didn't want to just stay in bed, and I was excited to go to work. And I was there, on time, and it happened the next day too, and the next day, and it's been happening ever since. And so, I've noticed that that person had a bigger effect on me than what I realized. And it's like, when you're dealing with negative, when you walk in a space and there's a negative energy, it's going to affect you. Now, we may accept it and just say, oh, whatever it is, what it is, but we don't understand that it's really affecting us. And so I didn't realize he was affecting me so much, because he had a lot of negative energy. I mean, a lot of negative energy. And you couldn't trust him. I couldn't trust that man for anything in the world, because he lies and talks about, the man steals, he lies, he talks about everybody behind their back. And so I knew that this person wasn't a person that I could trust. And so when you're around people who you can't trust, you get, you just have this weird feeling. It's like, oh, I can't trust you. It's it's almost like, I guess that's, that would be what hell would be like, when you're surrounded by people you don't know are going to harm you, or, how they're going to be one moment to the next. Like, that's how it was with this person. And so I had to learn how to maneuver and operate around this person, because anything can trigger this person. Like, I knew the things that would trigger that person. I knew that, if you didn't do something, or say something, whatever, then that person would become angry, and they would do little things to irritate you, like things that I've talked about in the past. Like, this is the way that person was. And so, yes, I was stuck with working with this individual, but I knew I couldn't escape, and the only way I could escape was to change positions, to change, jobs. And like I told you before, I like what I do. So, I mean, the environment that I work in, it's not the greatest. It's not even great. It's barely good. But I like what I do. And it has allowed me to progress because of many different things. So it's allowed me to see a whole bunch of different things. So that's why I like where I'm at. Because even though, it's not great, those things that aren't great help me to see things within myself. Like, these are all law of attraction events. That's why that place isn't great, because it's my law of attraction. But when I clear things up, when I stop having such resistance to the things that I'm experiencing, they leave. They're like, bye-bye. And so, like, that, were very unloving towards me and, giving to other people, but they would just treat me like crap, they left. And then, there's another person that was, not the greatest. They left. And then now the recent one is this one who was, total asshole, and he left. And the thing is, I didn't judge him, or I wasn't angry with him because he was an asshole. That's the reason why he left. That's the reason why he left and I didn't leave. And so, and there's more changes that are coming because of me changing. And it's interesting because I just see all of these people just dropping like flies, or they're buzzing away, I should say. They're just buzzing away. And they're just leaving me alone. So I continue to do the thing that I enjoy doing, and I'm not bothered by the negative energy that was being directed towards me, because now we're not a vibrational match. And the universe works. The universe is doing it. I'm not doing anything. The universe is doing everything. I don't have to do anything. And that's how you use the law of attraction. That's how you command the universe to give you what you want. That is how you do it, people. That is how you do it. So, and that's, it's like, that's the part that I really like about the law of it. Like, I really love it. The law of attraction the law of attraction is designed to have you work the least. Like, you don't have to work to have what you want. You can sit back and have it. You can just sit back and have it. The universe can give it to you. And if you can't generate that, if you can't allow the universe to just bring it to you, then what happens is you have to make it for yourself. You have to create it for yourself. But understand that anything that you create the joy that you create from that, because that's the reason why you're creating it for yourself, is the joy, is the happiness, is the pleasure. And see, those things are like, you can achieve it, but the universe will come and take that joy away. Sometimes they bring you experiences where you can't even enjoy it. For instance, a car. You buy a brand new car, you're like, yeah, I got this car, and then someone keys it. Oh, now you don't feel the same way about it anymore, do you? Someone bangs it. Oh, now you don't feel the same way anymore. You see, that's how that works. You can create whatever you want for yourself, but the universe will use other people, and well, that's what the universe uses. It's other people. But it's just a law of attraction. It's just energy already at play. So it's not that God is doing anything. It's like you're doing it. You're interacting with the laws, these energetic, magnetic laws, and you don't understand them. And because you don't understand them, you think God's doing it, someone else is doing it, Satan's doing it. It's Satan's world, and Satan's making my life miserable, when all along you're the Satan. That's just the way it is. I mean, like, when I got my car, I was like, yeah, I got a new car. It wasn't something that I really wanted, but it's decent, you know. It's decent. It had all the things that I really wanted, you know. I wanted, you know, a decent sound system. It has a more than adequate sound system. Leather, I've always wanted leather, even though now I understand it. Some animals had to die for it. You know, just a lot of different features and things that I liked about the car. And some that I didn't even realize that I liked or would even use that are within it. And then, you know, what happens is I'm not paying attention, and I have this big old clunky watch on, and I bang the side of the car and take a nice good chunk, it's like a little chip of paint or whatever. I was like, dang it. And that was the first thing, and it didn't feel the same anymore. It's like, oh, it's not pristine, it's not new, and it just didn't have the same feeling. And then, of course, you know, people open their doors and they bang it, and so, you know, now, you know, that's part of my law of attraction. So it's like, it just keeps diminishing the feeling that I have, or that you or that one has when they first get something. You know, it's like when something's new, it's great, but as soon as someone damages it, then it's not the same anymore, and you don't have that same feeling that you had when you bought it. And that's important to understand, because that's recognizing that the law of attraction, your soul is literally working against you. That is your soul working against you. And so this is why it's good to have self-love and not really look at it being selfish. You know, everything that I'm doing is about self-love. Everything that I'm doing is about self-love. Like, if there's something that, like, for instance, there could be, like, you know, there's, like, maybe someone brings donuts or something like that to work, and you know, you want a donut, and someone takes the last one, or I should say, you take the last one, and what is going on right here? I'm never it's never this slow. You take the last one, and someone says, oh, all the donuts are gone. You may feel guilty, and you might say, oh, you know, I really don't need it. Do you want it? No, if you want the donut, if you wanted the donut, then eat the donut. That's the reason why you got the donut. But you'll feel guilty about it and feel selfish, like you're being greedy, and you'll deprive yourself of the very thing that you wanted, the very thing that you desired. And that is the worst thing to do. And you'll feel like you're being selfish. And it should be love. But the thing is, if you have that within your soul, then of course you're going to feel as if you're being selfish, because you don't have love for yourself. If you had love for yourself, you would be grateful that you had the donut. This is the difference between the energy within the soul. Where does the soul reside energy wise? This is what people have to come to understand. How you feel inside will determine if it's self-love or selfishness. Like, for instance, I bought, like, the office a whole bunch of like little cinnamon roll bite things, right? So I was like, I brought it Monday. I was like, it's a celebration. I'm not saying what the celebration was for, but I was quite happy that the yes, I will. I was quite happy that the dynamic of the office was the way that it was on Monday, and it changed from what it was previously. And so I was like, I just took it in because I was excited and I was happy that this had taken place. And so I brought everyone pastries, you know, and I have I have brought a Keurig in, and an espresso machine. I brought it in, and I was like, hey, and I what I did was I brought it here again, and I just, it's for $1. And that isn't just for me to make a profit, but so that it can replenish what people are using, so they have access to it. I wasn't going to put myself out and keep buying, coffee and creamer and sticks and stir sticks and sugars and all these different things out of my pocket. But what I can do is I can use my energy to go and replenish these things so that people have it if they need it, because nobody else is doing it. It's just something I wanted to do. And so that day I was like, hey, free coffee and, pastries and coffee. So that's what I did. And, if I went, and so I had gone to, I didn't eat it that day. I think the next day I had a couple of them, but I brought 4 of them to my office. And so if someone would have said, oh, I wanted one, but if I wanted 4 of them, then I wanted 4 of them, but the thing is, I know I don't need to eat those things, but I was like, I desire it, I'll do it. But I know, like for myself, self-love wise, I know that I really did not need to eat those things because it's just really not good for me. So, what is going on here? Like, this is too much traffic. Really, what's going on here? So someone would have gone in there and there weren't any more, and they saw some on my desk. Now, I could have, because of self-love, I'm not supposed to really have it. I could have given it, or I could have kept it and say, oh, well, I wanted it, I desired it. So it could have gone either way, but it wouldn't have been from selfishness. It would have been from self-love from both perspectives. So did I desire it because, oh, what is going on up here? Well, no, it's up there somewhere. So anyway, self-love. So I can keep it for myself because I desire it, or I can give it away because I love myself. Both ways it would have been from love, because that's the only thing that would be residing in me on that subject. Self-love. It's like, do I really need it? No. So I can give it away because I know that I don't need to eat it. But if I desire it, and that's what I want, then I should be able to have that and not feel guilty or selfish because of it. Now, what is going on? Well, honking. What are you doing? Everybody's doing something crazy. You gotta let them fight for it. Let them fight for it, because they're gonna do it anyway. I wonder what's going on up here. I'm gonna get off the freeway. That'd be too much of a mess. Yeah. So, selfishness and self-love. It's only selfish when you don't want someone else to experience something good. That's where selfishness comes from. When you want someone to suffer, when you want to create a negative environment for another person, when you want someone to feel like, deprived. Oh, there it is. So many things going on the freeway. Oh, that's a boat. Oh, what was the other car? Oh, maybe it was a truck. Oh, yeah, it was a truck. This one right here. I can see that. I can see it. Yep. Oh, yep. I saw it. I don't know how he got over there, because the truck is damaged. The diesel is damaged on the right side. That other car is damaged on... Oh, he must have pushed another car into him. I think that's what it was. I don't know. But that was a messy accident. Anyway... So, be mindful of this selfish thing, because what you consider selfish could be your self-love. But it can't be self-love unless you're aware of it. You have to be aware of this. You have to know that you're loving yourself. You have to understand that you're honoring your soul. You can't just force it. If you feel guilty but you keep it anyway. If you feel guilty and keep it anyway, that's not love. That's selfishness. This is why I say it's really dependent upon the energy that's within the soul. Oh my goodness, the freeway is so open because of that. But it jams up ahead. I know that. So selfishness, self-love. Have I engaged in selfishness lately? I don't think so. I'm trying to think. There's sometimes that I felt like I was being selfish. Yeah, because after the person left, there's a lot of responsibilities that other people were supposed to be doing that he was doing, and they were trying to get it to come to me, and so I was like, no, that's not my responsibility. That has nothing to do with me. This person has been helping you out for I don't know how many years, and you've allowed them to take on your responsibility, and that freed you up. And so that was a selfish thing, because that person knew that they were responsible for certain things, and the other person took it on. And so, because nobody else would have done it. And so that person is selfish in that respect, because that person allowed that other person to be overwhelmed. And this is what I'm talking about, how that person created a sense of a lack of freedom, because that person was being overwhelmed doing something that the other person was responsible for doing. And so when they came over to me, I felt like, should I help out? Should I help out? And it's like, no, don't do that, because I would be doing it for the wrong reasons. See, the thing is, I have an issue. My issue is I know how to fix things. I know how to solve. I know how to rectify things. I just have that ability to do that. And so the issue that I run into is I want to do it because I'm capable of doing it. But what I have to realize is that I cannot impede upon someone else's experience. Like, I can't take away from them what they're supposed to experience. So now now that person left, this other person who was actually supposed to be doing this stuff all along is now on their shoulders. Like, it's on their plate, and it's not getting done because they don't want to do it. But most of all, they don't know how to do it because they never learned how to do it, and they didn't learn on purpose because they didn't want to do it, which is why they allowed the other person to do it. But now that the person left, and this is all part of that law of attraction too, it's not just mine. Like, this person has been responsible for a lot of things, but never took responsibility for those things. And now that other person is gone and not doing it, now a lot of things there's a lot of things right now that are going undone because that person is gone. And nobody, the people who were supposed to be doing those things never wanted to learn. And so they wanted to be selfish and have all the freedom and do whatever they wanted and come and go as they chose, because they didn't have anything to keep them there in the office. There were no duties for them to do. The other person was doing it. And now they're stuck with it, and now all the eyes are on that person. It's like, well, what do I do? Oh, hey, this is something that you've created for yourself. This is what I'm talking about. That person has created the stress, and so I see the stress, I see the suffering, I see the pain, and I want to alleviate it, but I can't. And I can't because of self-love. I have to love myself first. I have to understand that if I do something, I'm going to incur karma. This is not my deal. My deal is what I've been doing for I don't know how many years at the agency. I know what I'm supposed to be doing, and I've been doing it. So I can't involve myself in someone else's madness that they have created for themselves. They're like, they're really trying to involve me. I'm like, look, no. And part of me felt a little guilty. It's like, Zach, but you know how to solve all this. You know how to do this stuff. It's so easy, but that's not the point. That's not the point. I know how to do a lot of things, but I'm not the one that signed up to do it. I'm not the one that's getting paid to do it, first of all. That's the biggest thing. I'm not getting paid to do that. Yes, I know how. If you compensate me for it, no problem. I can do it. Easy. I mean, easy. I can do it more efficiently than the other person can. One, because I train the person. I train the person on a lot of things, So, I mean, I know how to do it, but like I said, it would be unloving for me to take on so much responsibility and not be compensated for it. I would be allowing them to take advantage of me the same way they took advantage of the next person. Because that last person was asking for a raise for 3 years because they had taken on so many things. Granted, that person took it on their own. They didn't ask them to do it. That person did it on their own because that person knew that it needed to be done. And that person knew that it would generally fall back on him if he didn't. So that's why he took it on. So I took on something, but it's because it affects me. Like, my job is dependent upon, or I should say, the way I set things up. That what that person does also benefits me. So I took that back on. I'm like, okay, I need this to continue functioning the way that it has been functioning. So I'll take over this, and I let them know. I said, look, this is I've taken, I received an email saying, to grant access to this database that I've created years ago to manage all kinds of things. So it's in one place and you can get many things out of it. So, they were like, that person said, you can give me access to the database. And I'm like, that's not a good idea, because I'm the only one who knows how to manage the database, and there's a specific way to put things in, and if you don't, it locks stuff up. And so I put that in the email. I'm like, I don't think it's a good idea, but if the main supervisor wishes that you have it, I'll grant you access to it, but I cannot ensure that it will continue to work or it will be useful in the future. And I just told the truth, and that's just the way, that it is. And so the main supervisor responded, or main manager responded and said, I think it's best that you maintain control over the database. And so, it is what it is, and it's not that hard, this is what I'm saying. Like, I know how to do all kinds of stuff, but I'm not going to overwhelm myself and take on someone else's responsibility just to alleviate their pain, because that's an unloving thing to do. To take someone else's pain and put it on your own being, because that's what people do all the time. And people will allow you to do it, and that is a selfish thing to do. That is a selfish thing for someone else to do, is to allow you to take on their energy, negative, bad, whatever energy, and take it on as their own. That's unloving. That's what they're like, oh, okay, I'll let them have it. That's a selfish thing to do. And that's what that supervisor, was doing to the other one. They didn't give a shit about the other person being overwhelmed, and, they were like, oh yeah, I, rooted, for a raise for that person. Of course you did, because that person was doing all of your work. And it wasn't because you really were, thankful, because certainly they were not even thankful. They weren't even thankful that the person was doing that work. They just wanted to maintain their freedom. So that's why they wanted the other person to be happy, so that they can continue to be happy. That is a selfish thing. There's nothing loving about that at all. At all. And this is why everything's coming to a head. Like, everything's coming to a head. Everything is coming to a head. But that's what happens when you're selfish. That karma comes back to you. And it's coming back. It is coming back with vengeance. Ooh, Lord. So yeah, don't be so selfish when you refuse to do something. You don't have to do something. You have to understand your free will. You have free will to do whatever you want to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it. It doesn't matter about what anybody else wants from you. If someone wants something from you, you have to decide whether or not you want to give it. Don't feel pressure to do it. Don't feel pressured at all. That's not loving to yourself. And if anyone pressures you, they're being selfish. They're being selfish. They're trying to have a good experience at your expense, at the cost of you. And see, I don't allow that. I don't allow that anymore. At all. It's an unloving thing to do. And this is what happens when you learn about what love is. You operate in it. And you can only benefit when you operate in it. Self-love. Learn what that is if you don't know what it is. And if you have these feelings of guilt and shame because you're not offering or you're not doing what someone else wants you to do, come on. Figure this stuff out. Like, learn. Like, try to isolate, why are you feeling this way? Because it's due to an emotional injury. It's due to an emotional injury. And if you do it and you feel guilty because of it, that's an emotional injury. That means that you can't do it means that you allow other people to control you. You allow other people to run your life. You allow other people to dictate how you should live. You allow people to dictate the experience that you should have. And this is unloving. And this is very selfish of them. All right, everyone. So have a great Thursday, and I'll talk to you later. Bye now.